got in the room. Can you put your hand up if you're a programmer? Okay, so quite a lot. If you're a statistician. If you're other and not a presenter. Does one of the others not a presenter just want to reach out and say who they are and what they do? No? Sorry, that? Clinical operations. All right, so I think we've got a nice mix of people here today. From looking at the attendee list, it's a very broad coverage, and we'll cover that a little bit later on. So what I would like to do is just first of all welcome you all to the Basel PhUSE SDE 2014 with visualization. It's a multi-stream event, and it's a little bit different to normal years, so we'll talk about that just a little bit as well. One thing I just want to talk about is us. We're the host, Joseph Rowley and Karma Tarat. I've been here with Novartis for 10 years, and I'm a team lead in one of the franchises at IHC. And Karma?
I've been here for 5 years, and I'm working with the standards group as a programmer as well. Okay, so I think many of you are probably, this is probably the first PhUSE conference that you've attended. So I thought I would start with a bit of background into what PhUSE is. So PhUSE stands for the Pharmaceutical Users Software Exchange, and it is a not-for-profit organization which is supported by volunteers. The main aim of PhUSE is to facilitate discussions and sharing of ideas for the advancement of clinical data science. So apart from a main global event, they also run multiple single-day events like this called SDEs. So currently we have this going on in 11 countries, and 11 events in 7 countries, and the first of which is in Hyderabad, India. We also have 5 across the US, all the way from Boston in the east to San Francisco in the west. And further 5 conferences in Europe, so London, Frankfurt, Brussels, Copenhagen, and for the 6th consecutive year here in Basel. So the footprint of PhUSE has been growing quite a lot recently. So in 2013 last year, for the European events, we had a total of 214 attendees, and so far we have 335, with Brussels still to go. So it is a growth in the right direction.
Yeah. I think that's a testament to PhUSE. It's trying to deliver what people want within the industry, and I think that's driving the attendance. So let's just talk a little bit about the Basel event. When this slide was generated, we had 138 attendees registered. That yesterday had gone up to 142. But just to make that happen, we'll go through that in a minute, but that represents 30 different organizations. To make that happen, we needed 2 hosts, 1 presenter facilitator who's on hand to meet every need of the presenter, 2 event managers, 5 event support staff, and most importantly, Trudy Turner from PhUSE, who actually kept us on track and helped us to deliver today. So she was very, very good. And we've tried to visualize that with a visualization from Johan. Dan, and if you can bring that visualization up. And this will be available online after the event to see who's there. I think we should be having a visualization. Oh, here we are. So this is just an interesting visualization. It's got all of the main sponsors on there. We have, and all of the attendees and their relevant organizations. But you can actually zoom into this, look at the different people. It's just a bit of fun, but it just shows you the power of visualization. So if you want to find out who you were talking to, you can always go to this. Just put a face to that from the attendee list as well.
And it's available after the conference because it's hosted on a private private site.
Okay. You can close that now. Thank you. Okay, so back to the scope.
We have a very diverse multi-stream agenda for you today. First up is the first of a kind preclinical forum, and we're very lucky that we have Christina and Frederick joining us from SDS Life Sciences, PDS Life Sciences, sorry. And they're going to take all the members upstairs into a room and discuss the needs of stakeholders in the preclinical setting. We then have a SAS graphics designer workshop, which is also taking place in a different room upstairs. And we have Daniel Christian from the SAS Institute with Hans Reiner-Polly, and they are professional trainers that will train, I can't remember how many people.
It's 10 people now.
10 people now,
yeah.
okay. So 10 people in how to use the SAS graphics designer software. And of course you have this, which is the mainstream, the visualization stream. We've got a number of interesting presentations about visualization. Joseph and myself are going to be hosting this stream. For the morning break, we'll have a poster session. So I think some of you have already seen the posters out there. We've got 11 posters. I think it's going to be a very nice session. And for the evening break, we have a session entitled Meet the Actors. And this is really for you to get a chance to engage and speak with anyone who's really participated in helping to create this event. So we have sponsors are going to be out there, content providers, poster people, and presenters, of course.
Okay, I'm getting conscious of the time. I think we're running a little bit over. But just to recap the preclinical forum, we've got all of these organisations represented with 10 people there. Hopefully, at the end of the day, Christina and Frederick can give us an update as how to what that went, and if that is a growth factor for PhUSE in the future in Europe. We have the SAS graphic designer workshop, as Karma said, and it's an excellent opportunity to get training from experts, and we hope that this could be something that PhUSE can carry on at other single day events. But it's just to give you the opportunity to get access to high quality trainers and to be able to work through a training program. Then the main visualization stream, it's all in your brochures, and I'm not going to spend too much time on here, but we've tried to encompass the whole of visualization throughout clinical development, looking at a clinician's perspective, looking at perspectives from people who advise the EMEA and NICE, looking at what is a good or bad graphic, and looking at what can be done in R, as well as looking at the new software tools, visual analytics from SAS and Spotfire, how they're having an impact within the industry and how potentially they may affect you. And our keynote speaker is Moritz Stephaner, who's not actually from within pharma, he's from outside, to give us some ideas what's going on in the wider industries. Because we're all able to do visualizations and we all have transferable skills, so it'd be interesting to see if any of those ideas can be related to pharma development or not. In addition, we've got Monica and Mark, who are not on the presenter stream today, not yet anyway, because they're our backup presenters in case one of our main presenters has an issue in arrival, because we've still got 1 or 2 to arrive. But I'd like to acknowledge them for generating presentations and coming here today to give them just in case, because it'll be quite nerve-wracking if they have to do it. Okay, we've talked about the poster discussions. We've got 11. There's mostly on visualization, but we have other pieces as well. I think it's worthwhile to go and talk to the presenters, look at the content. They've spent some time doing this for us. And yeah, I've had a sneak preview of all of them because I had to review them, and I can say the quality is very good. The Meet the Actor session, the people attending that can pick the actor of their choice to represent them. I'm not quite sure who I would be, but it's just to give some structure to a networking session. As Karma said, we've got all of the people who contributed to the day to be part of this event, and it's open topic, so you can ask anything within reason. Whether they can answer you, that's up to them. But make the most of it. There's a lot of people here today. There's 30 different organizations. Network. Okay, you've got the floor plan in your brochure. The most important parts for me is the food. The food at lunchtime. Everybody should have been registered. If you're not registered, you won't get any food because you need a sticky on your badge. I've been demoted down to a green level, but be aware, register, and then you can have access to food. And then the toilets marked in T for the ladies, and on the same floor but round the corner is for men. Okay, we've covered this. Now, this for me is the most important piece. It's the feedback of the events. And what we would like to see is that everybody who's attending today, before they leave, fills out one of these forms. And I think there's a special treat.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot. There is a very fashionable keyring.
Yes.
There you go. Oh.
Okay. And potentially a nice pencil as well. So
we're spoiling them, Joseph. We're spoiling them.
That's if you give good feedback. But on a serious note, what we want is critical feedback, constructive critical feedback. If you think it was poor, let us know exactly why, because the next people who are developing these events will find this information invaluable. You know, if you think something should be repeated, let them know, and then all this information can go to PhUSE, and PhUSE can decide how to carry on these events in the future. So your feedback is critical. And then I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Actelion, SAS, Roche and Novartis, for actually putting money up to engage the external speakers that we have here today. Also for supporting the event, because Cameron and I had to do a pitch to all of the people, and I think we had some strange faces at first, but I think people came around to that. And I'd also like to mention PhUSE, even though it's not on here. PhUSE has enabled this to happen, and they're everywhere. And they're enabling us to basically get some added value. Okay, so I think we need to finish now. So without further ado, we'll introduce the first speaker, Moritz Stefaner. Keynote. Would you like to